The tiny garden, May turning into June 2026, northeast. Today's temperature is about 58. We've had a couple of days of rain, and the sugar snap peas that you can see growing their tendrils. I don't think I can get scale on the video. I can get sunlight difference, I can put brightness in, but that's it. Still shots they'll be able to get better definition. Again, these are the tendrils, a fascinating miracle that's not dissimilar to how the root system works in its basic nature. To succeed, and success is getting in a seedling in the proper soil to germinate, and to be able to have the roots specifically adapt to pull through and past roots and obstacles to gain nutrients and water so it can thrive as the tendrils seek the sun. Circumnutation, circulational movements. They're elliptical, randomly, based on all sorts of inputs through its own genetics and the adaptive way those genetics made it go searching in random ways that are based on the temperature, the sun, the wind, and all the other factors that make it go into this spiral geometric pattern of a live plant seeking out its fingers without eyes, and finds things and knows what plants are around it. So I'm here in a very tiny garden. Hope you're not getting too dizzy. So I've read up a little about it. I put my own haphazard string system down. We'll see how well the spirals and the leaves can get through it, because it's not only the tendrils that move and twist, as do the stems and the leaves closest to it, and probably the entire organism, to some extent, I would presume, in order to bend and turn and twist so it doesn't break and remains supple. S-U-B-T-L-E. They must communicate with each other in one way or another to give it notice as to when to loosen up and become plastic. Bendable, plastic. I'll have references added. The sugar snap, I believe it's Pervis salvinum, or some similar Latin name. It's the most commonly observed plant that there seems to be. I would say primarily because of its tendril system, the vine system. Look how it's just holding on to there in the wind. Now, even if it lets go, I've been training them and training the little coriander. I love coriander. Some people look at coriander as soap. I think it's delicious. It did taste soapy to me the first few times. It was very odd. I overcame that, and it became one of my most top-rated spices. I would probably choose it over parsley. And the coriander root, the stem itself has flavor, where the parsley stem does not. Just a wonderful flavor. Just have to get that past odd soap oddity. It can be overcome. Just have to have an open mind in eating and trust that others are saying it's delicious and you're missing out on something. And just like a child might not like a food when they first try it, it's oftentimes an adult's proper position to induce the child to try it again, and as an adult to try it with someone who actually knows what they're doing and to give it more than one shot and trust them. Or don't, which would either limit or enhance the variety of your culinary delights. It's about as simple as that. Now back to the story of the plants. So I'm growing coriander because it happens to be another cold weather suited plant. Early plantings in spring and early summer. That's a coriander, as is, let me find some arugula I should have in here. There's an arugula growing. So I have arugula, that's the pea pod plant with the plant tendrils. And that's the arugula. So you can see I'm interspersing them far closer than I should, but I've been moving them around carefully with the root systems and making certain that they have dried leaves and things like that to separate them. I shift them a little so they aren't in as close proximity. There are 3 bins. Bin A, bin 1, the one we've been focusing on. There's bin 2. More bin 2. Bin 2. So that was bin 1. Bin 2, we've just checked in there, and now we're going to check into bin 3. And see how it be. I'm shifting on my little plastic lounge chair. Okay, so this is bin 3, with right now its key and dominant plant that I'm trying to train to get its tendrils close to the mesh that I put up. And the plants look very healthy. And you can see across from there is another arugula plant. Arugula. And here's another snow pea. I would think these are older leaves here, or I'm not certain why the pigment is there like that in the white. I'll have to monitor that. This is all pot 3. So you can, and we're back to pot 2. You can see how I've tried to space them. It's more tight. I've had gardens my whole life. I'd say at least a half a dozen years. I had 2 gardens at once. Might have been my own garden and a community garden, of which I've helped clear out a couple of them. One, I put a fence around my small, well, it was like 100 times 50, or 50 times 50. These are big community plots, big enough to have corn but I put a fence around mine. I was the only one who did that, and I got a much better harvest. I even planted it off-season buckwheat, which helps to nitrogen fix for the next season. And I like barley, kasha. So you have the whole grain or crush it up. So that's pretty much what I've been doing out here. Spending all my hours of the day just looking at the plants and watching the tendrils grow. I imagine I'll be, oh look at that, this one let go a little bit, probably because I was fiddling. So if we can induce it to go in between here. See if it wants to snack onto something, it knows something's there. It's not dumb. I don't want to cause it too much stress or make it unhappy. Get that tendril in between these two ropes. There we go. I like that. I'll let this tendril get used to that floating. They seem to like these little floating ends. I found a number of the floaters that I have gotten them wrapped into it at some point or another. With all my fiddling, I've probably undone it. But I think it's flying through the air, it just gives it more chances of realizing there's something there, which will make it adjust to even go through something that's gently bellowing in the wind, not because they're not too long. And the vines will go around each other, themselves, other plants around them. I think an advantage of them when they can is that they can wrap around each other. I don't think to too much of each other's detriment. It might even be a benefit over a long period to keep it more stabilized with fewer break in the wind, making their own trellis system, basically. Almost like how jellyfish would get together, except this is at a much higher level. The nervous systems and the change to the genetics that give us this odd, isolated couple of genes. I think it's two genes, molecules that they've determined work in conjunction to accelerate its ability to pass around roots and be tough, and to find an answer to its purpose is to adapt so that seed can find the good nutrients to grow. And it gives it this winding ability. I think that all trees would have that to some extent. These vine tendril plants have just taken it to another level, kicking it up a notch, so to speak. So I'll say good night for now, everyone. I'm in there in the frame someplace. I'm just holding it in my hand. It's a very low-key thing. So I'll say good night, y'all, and protect liberty, and be kind, but watch your six. Later, y'all.